Welcome to my channel. In this video you are going to learn how to write a program that adds two matrices using C++. So first of all, I'm going to revise some main points about matrices. Now we know that a matrix consists of rows and columns, of course. So the rows are horizontal lines and the columns are vertical lines. So here the rows are these horizontal lines and the columns are these vertical lines, right? So the size of matrix is consist of the number of rows and the number of columns. So here the size of this matrix is 2 row and 2 columns, right? Because this matrix contains 2 rows, this is 1 and 2 columns, right? So the size of this matrix is 2 cross 2 or 2 by 2. Now consider this matrix. This matrix have 3 rows like this one, and this one, and 2 columns like this. So the size of matrix is 3 cross 2, right? So 3, now the first term indicate rows and the second digit indicate column, right? So this matrix have 3 rows and 2 columns. Now the second point is this: if column of first matrix is not equal to the rows of second matrix, then addition or multiplication is not possible, right? So what does it say? That if you have a matrix like 2 3 1 0, which is 2 cross 2, it means 2 rows and 2 columns, right? And for example, we have another matrix like this: 2 1 1 5 and 6 0. All right, you can consider any matrix. So this is 3 rows and 2 columns, right? Now this is row and this is column, row and column, right? Row and column. So I'm writing it again. The size of first matrix, for example, first matrix name is A and second matrix is B, which is 3 cross 2. Now the point says if column of first matrix, right? So this is column of first matrix, okay, is not equal to rows of second matrix. Now this is rows of second matrix. So 2 is not equal to 3, then addition or multiplication is not possible, right? So how it is not possible? Now you can see that 2 is added to this one, right? This digit is added to this one is added to this, and 0 is added to 5. Now what about this? Now here we have no row, right? So that's why it's impossible to add these types of matrices, right? You cannot add these types of matrices. So the size should be valid, right? The size should be like the number, the column of first matrix should be equal to rows of second matrix, then addition is possible, right? This point should be you have to keep in mind this point, right, while writing your program. So our next point is that the entries are integers, right? So we have to use variables to store these entries, but these are a lot of variables, and if we manually do like this: int a equals 2, int b equals 3, and c equals 4, so on, that will take a lot of time. So why not we use arrays? Like arrays consist of rows and columns, right? So array will generate a space for your these entries in the memory, right? So that's why we will use arrays in our program. Like we will use 3 arrays, first for matrix A, for matrix B, and when we add these two matrices, it will generate a resultant matrix. So for that matrix we will also use array, right? So in our program we will use three arrays. Alright, and of course loops, like for loops. Alright, so let's start our main program. So let's begin. I'm starting from int main, right? So as I told you before that we will use three arrays. So the first matrix we named here is A, and we use array, right, for first matrix. And for second matrix we named as B, we used array. Alright, and for the resultant matrix, like when we add both matrices A and B, we will get a third matrix which we named add. So we will also use array for this matrix, right? And here the rows R1 and C1 indicates the rows and columns for first matrix, and R2 and C2 indicates the rows and columns for second matrix. And of course the I, J and K are used for loops, right? We will also use loops in our program, so that's why we initialize or declare our variables, right? I, J and K also. And then we want to know the size of matrix, right? That the user enter which size of matrix. So first of all we would like to know about the size. That's why we show a message on the screen using cout statement that enter rows and columns for first matrix, like how many rows and columns of the matrix you entered contain, right? So for example, this is the matrix that user enter. This is basically 2 cross 2 matrix, like 2 rows and 2 columns. All right, so we will the user will just type the rows and columns for first matrix, like here. Alright, and of course for the second matrix also we would know the size, that what is the size of second matrix. Why? Because I told you before that if column of first matrix is not equal to row of second matrix, then of course the error will generate. So that's why we would ask the user to enter the size of matrix again, like enter the correct size, the valid size. Alright, so now here we use a while loop, right? While loop, and we use two conditions. That if column 1, it means C1 means the columns of first matrix is not equal to column of second, or row of first matrix is not equal to row of second, then what will be executed? This statement will be executed, right? If the condition is true, then control will enter the body of the loop, and this statement will be executed, like error, column of first matrix not equal to row of second. Alright, and again enter rows and columns of first matrix and enter rows and columns for second matrix, like this whole body will be executed if these conditions are true. And if this condition are false, then of course the control will not execute, or the control will not enter the body, right? So the control will just comes here, like cout. All right, so as I told you before that if the rows of first matrix is not equal to the columns of second, the columns of first is not equal to the rows of second, then of course it will generate an error, right? So our next step is to store our elements like this 1 2 2 0. Now how we will store these elements in our matrix or in our array? Okay, so first of all we would like to print a message for the user so that he can understand clearly. Alright, so we write a message for him that enter elements of matrix 1, right? And end line is used for new line or next line or whatever you say. Okay, so the main work starts from here. So let's talk about how to store elements of first matrix. For example, the user wants to enter the matrix which contains 2 rows and 2 columns. Alright. So first of all, we want to display a message for a user like enter elements of first matrix. Alright, and this is used for a next line or new line, whatever you say, end line, this is used for. Okay, so first of all we are going to use a for loop, right? This is loop and this is the body of that loop. Okay, so what we write like I equals 0, okay, and I is less than r1. R1 is what? Rows of first matrix. For example, this is first matrix, A equals to this is first matrix, and we have 2 rows. Okay, so we have 2 rows and I is equal to 0, so it means 0 is less than 2. Yes, our condition is true, so the control will move into the body. Alright, and the control will execute this statement. Now this statement is again a for loop. Okay, so we have I is less than equal to r1, it means 0 is less than 2, our condition is true, so our next statement will be executed this. Now j is equal to 0, okay, and j is less than c1. This is column 1, so how many columns? We have 2 columns. Alright, 2 rows and 2 columns, so c1 is also 2. And here j is equal to 0, so 0 is less than 2. Yes, of course 0 is less than 2, our condition is true, so that's why this statement will be executed. Alright, so enter element A, so this statement will be printed as it is on the screen like enter. For example, this is the screen. Okay, for example, this is the screen, enter element A. Okay, so these this statement will be shown as it is on the or printed as it is on the screen. Okay, so what is this like? We will understand this, that how it will work. So basically the value of I here is 0. Okay, so here what is 0 and this is plus 1, so we get 1. Alright, so here we get 1, and again j is 0 here, so this is 0 plus 1. Alright, so again we get 1, and this column will be printed as it is. Of course, you know the basics. So what will be, so beside A here will be printed 1 and 1, which is the location of this first digit. Okay, so what is this? A11 means that the term is in first row and first column, right? 1 shows row and the second digit show the place of column, right? So this it means that A11, like here column will also be printed, so this shows that this digit is in first row and first column. Now you can see that this is first row and this is first column, so the digit will be printed here or will be stored here, right? Will be stored here as we are storing elements of first matrix. So the first element will be stored here, but how? Using array, right? Using cin statement. So the user will enter the digit or the term like, okay, so this shows the row and this shows the column. Now the value of I is what? Is 1. The value of j is what? Is also 1. So the value of I is 0 and j is also 0. So that's why here we got a 0 and 0. So in this place, like array start from 0, okay, you should know that array starts from 0, like 0 1 and 2 and 3, like spaces created like this, okay, like this. So here the first in digit will be stored here in this place. Now this is 0 and this is 1. So this is row and this is column. So the place is 0 comma 0, like 0 and 0, row 0 and column also 0. So the first digit will be stored here in the array. For example, 1 is stored, okay. So again control will goes here and j will be increased by 1. So here the value of j is now 1, and 1 is less than 2. Yes, of course 1 is less than 2. So again this statement will be executed. Now again enter element, and now here I is 0, I will be same, okay. I is 0 plus 1, so I is 1, and j is, now j is 1 here because the value of j is incremented by 1, okay. So the value of j is 1, so 1 plus 1 is 2, so the value of j is now 2. So how it will be printed on the screen? Like this: enter element a1 2, okay. So this is basically for location, okay, for location. So now